Time flies. Here comes the last keynote session before we wrap up for the Congress. Let's welcome Shen Wei, choreographer and artistic director of Shen Wei Dance Arts, and this year's recipient of the Distinguished Artist Award for the closing keynote. Shen Wei is a choreographer, dancer, painter, and director internationally renowned for the breadth and scope of his original artistic vision. He founded Shen Wei Dance Arts in New York City in the year 2000 and toured in over 30 countries in 140 cities. He received major commissions from world-renowned arts institutions and festivals all over the world. His own technique, natural body development, is taught in many universities and dance centers. Shen has entered into a new dialogue in a series of performative installations and site-specific works that have been presented at international leading museums and galleries. Live Q&A is available after Shen's presentation for the first round. Stay tuned to exchange ideas with him and fellows. And I now pass the time to Shen Wei.
Hello everyone, I'm Shen Wei. I hope you all have been enjoying this year's Hong Kong ISPA Congress so far. And thank you for supporting performing arts in this special time. I am so happy to join this year as well. I have been participating in ISPA for many times with my dance company Shen Wei Dance Arts in New York City. And I remember my first time coming to Hong Kong to show my choreography back to 1990, 32 years ago, at the International Festival of Dance Academy, performed at APA Theatre. And today, we're together again to build what we believe in and support what we're passionate about. This year, Hong Kong ISPA named To Connect Beyond. What does this mean to me? I have been thinking about a lot. And based on this, my personal experience, I come with this subject. And here is to connect beyond different cultures and into the future of art creation. First, learning the different artistic sensitivities in Eastern and Western cultures. I began studying Chinese traditional opera when I was 9 years old in 1978. I spent 10 years with this rooted Chinese traditional sensitivities and expression art form. After that, in 1989, I started to learn Western modern dance, which is a completely different art form, with a different culture behind it as well. It was an extremely difficult process, and it was not easy for me at first. But in the end, I have gained the artistic knowledge and appreciation of different cultures and can combine them in my work. I would like to share a story. When I first time came to the Western world in 1995 to study in New York City, I went to see the Western opera and the music concert. At the show, I always fall asleep. It took so many years for me to develop the ear for the sensibility of the Western music and the style. And later on, in 2004 New York City, when I was talking to people about creating a new work, that was based on Chinese traditional Peking opera. So many people told me that they had difficulty to listening the music, and the sound of the singing voice was too intense for them. When the work performed at Lincoln Center Festival and the Het Music Theater Amsterdam, almost all the audience was not familiar with Chinese opera. But they ended up enjoying it very much. I think when you take the time understanding the beauty of the different artistic senses and cultures, then you will know how to create a new artistic directions to communicate with both beauties. Then people exposed to this different beauty, then they will accept and also will be enjoyed. Here are a few samples where I create dance and opera that based on different sensibilities of its music and cultural backgrounds. You will see the first photo with the second visit to the Empress was a modern Chinese opera and a dance theater, and premiered at Lincoln Center Festival in 2007. And the performers from mainland China and also with my dancers from New York City. And the second picture you will see is a production at Rome Opera House, and music by Rossini's Moses and Pharaoh, conducted by Muti. Yes, and the dancers all from Italy. And the third one will be a Carmina Grana, music by Karloff, produced and performed by the Teatro del San Carlo Opera House in Napoli in 2013. And the dancers all from the Opera House and my dancers from Shenwei Dance Arts. The last one you will see is a new production, Neither. It's very contemporary music by Modern Feldman and libretto by Samuel Beckett, and performed by my dancers in New York City and premiered at the Berkman Academy of Music, the Next Wave Festival in 2016. They are four completely different music backgrounds with different sensibilities. And from what I did before, and I have the chance and to challenge to understand all the different music in my productions. Here, I would like to show you some samples of my video tape. You can see some different senses of music. hope you enjoy the video clips, and each of the production also is a learning process for me as well. To connect beyond is to connect tradition and develop their essence beyond the time. Myself, I studied in both Eastern and Western classical paintings, as well as performance. Here are some drawings from my childhood and practice. In 1976, when I was 6 years old, I began to start the Chinese traditional painting and the calligraphy, and I continued until I was 16 years old. In 1984, I began to learn in the Western traditional painting, oil paintings. With each form, I began to develop their essence and beyond the time, asking what is the beyond? What have I learned from the past? And what is the future? Here are a few image samples of what I have been exploring. It's the concept I'm exploring in abstract painting that relate to the traditional Chinese calligraphy and principle of Qi movement. I also exploring in modern dance, and like the second picture named Connect Transform. Then the connection continued to develop with performance arts installations. You will see the third pictures. And those performance and experience of movement principles also inspired my creation in painting. You will see the last image. Luckily, I have a chance to share both of those concepts of modern dance combined with principles from traditional art forms with the world at the 2008 Beijing Olympic opening ceremony. Looking beyond has always been part of my exploration to enhance our awareness and develop our human abilities. Have opened my creations in the last 10 years. Last year, I challenged myself on every level to create a work named Integrate, based on ancient Chinese I Ching or I Ching as a book of divination and philosophy. Integrate has 3 parts. The first part is an exhibition of 64 artworks in painting, photography, text, and objects. The second part is a film. And the third part is an installation dance performance. Here is a video clips I would like to share with you from this work. Okay, this is all my sharing today, and I'm looking forward to the Q&A.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Shen, for the enlightening and enjoyable closing keynote for us. And shall we now move on to the Q&A session of the day?
Okay, thank you. Yes.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen in the audience, if you're watching us, feel free to drop your questions in the chat box. If there's anything in mind throughout the keynote presentation or inspired by visuals. In fact, I've been monitoring the chat and I noticed that quite a few of you have mentioned how mesmerized you are by the interdisciplinary as well as the breadth of different types of collaboration. So Mr. Shen, if I could dive into the first question that we've received from the audience. So the first question goes, you have been successfully collaborating with artists of different genres and is very well known in blending various types of theatrical elements extraordinarily well. Can you share how you achieved that collaboration and various theatrical elements? How does that happen?
I think it has to be, with all the experience I have in the past. I don't think I start with, knowing it. And it's, once little, when doing the Chinese opera tradition, which means we have to learn how to dance, how to sing, how to act, how to perform, also have put our own makeup on. Besides, I'm a visual artist, and all the things has been kind of growing up with myself. And during the time when I'm making my own dance works, and I actually started to creating my own costume, set design, and the makeup, as well as the choreography. Is after many years, it's kind of found a way how to balance, also how to kind of support each other. Right now, I think for me, it's kind of natural now. Of course, I have to continue to develop the things I may not really know, and also trying to learn more. And that's kind of all my, process.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I think when we looked into your artistic journey so far is also indeed a great inspiration from, Chinese opera into absorbing, and you were saying developing an ear for different types of art forms in the West. So the second question we've received from the audience asks about collaboration and partnership as well. Specifically, this person would like to know, what are the barriers in hindering or preventing, as well as what are the key factors leading to successful collaborations or partnerships? So on the topic of partnership, what are the hindrances, what are the obstacles, and what are the key factors of success?
Actually, when I working with so many dance company or opera company, and also different dancers from the past, I found out first, of course, you have to really share what your personal version, your vision of artistic, kind of sense. And at the same time, you have to be open mind to allow to listening what another artist, another collaborators, what they are be able to do that maybe open more a range of what your vision is. And sometimes, especially working with dancers, you might thinking some dancers will do something beautifully in the way exactly what you like to do, but maybe somebody will do even more than what you like to do. And you don't know, because every human being has its own kind of uniqueness, and you will like to kind of learn from them. Also, you grow of understanding different quality textures. The different body has a different way of expression. This kind of also is a learning process. Also, if, usually allow those happening, but of course you have to direct them to the way of the work was supposed to be. Yes, just have your open mind. You know, you never know. Sometimes surprisingly will be more than what you thought.
Yes, so keeping an open mind and using the sensitivity that you mentioned when you talked about connecting beyond, right? Your two key factors to observe and try to see what's beyond that. It's really inspiring. And we do have a third question also related to partnership. So I think a lot of our audience are being inspired by how your collaborative works have spanned out. So the question goes, what do you look for in a partnership? Do you have any preference about the characteristics of your potential partner? So what are you looking for indeed when you look for a partnership?
I think you need to look for the partnership has to be really committed. And because you are working together for something we both don't know, and we're actually trying to achieve more than what we have been done from the past. And sometimes you may see the difficulty is a problem, but you also need to see the difficulty is a growing challenge for yourself, and it's a learning process. I know, like every time when learning something we don't know, of course you have to you feel difficult, but it is going to gain yourself, be a much wiser and better, and that's what we should do. You know, when every time working with a partnership, I say I will try to challenge myself, and so does you, and hope we can achieve together to making something more than we have been done from the past.
Right. So it's indeed a very good follow-up question. The next one that we have from the audience says, you speak of learning with great modesty. So do you place equal emphasis on teaching the partner, or how do you balance between the learning and the teaching when you work with your partner?
Of course, I do have a really long journey, you know, of myself. I definitely trying to, if it depends on the production. Let's say if the production I'm in charge, I definitely have to give in like a 120% what my vision is and what I would like you to do if you can be in the direction I want you to go. And if you think something will be challenging or difficult, it's impossible, okay, what you can be best way of sharing your artistic, you know, side. And, you know, that's something I will be put in the front. I have to do so much homework and to prepare myself. But at the same time, I allow myself during the process to go beyond myself. But if I'm working with somebody, like say I'm working for the 2008 Olympic opening ceremony, because I'm not the general director, you know, I have to listen to the whole team, what the whole process is going to be. If the beginning give me a segment is 10 minutes, if they're asking me to change it to 9 minutes, I have to change. Or if the time and the dancers are sharing costume change only, or even the artistic decisions with the whole theme, I need to be changed to follow the bigger, you know, direction. I will listen to the director. Sometimes you have to learn who actually in charge the production and who you are trying to contribute and what the main goal is, you know, and there will be something, it's just like I know what my place is, and also I will also to know what we want to try our best.
Right, so there is kind of a compass
that tells you, how do you interact with different partners. We actually have a lot of questions coming in from the audience, so we'll try to attempt perhaps 2 more if we do have time. We can take a couple more. So the next question asks about your amazing Shenwei Dance Arts company, which is now over 20 years old. The question is, please share with us your experience in managing your dance company.
Well, that is the most difficult things in my life. I think it's a manager company that, in New York City and also in our time of modern dance is, we all know there's no single country say modern dance is easy to survive in any countries. And especially New York City, there's so much competition and challenge. And, of course, the managing part is difficult, but the financial part also is really difficult because we have to do all the fundraising. That would be one of the difficulty for my experience to having a dance company, but at the same time, it's good to have the people you have been working with for a long time and to build something you like to do. And that also is my kind of why I have the company. Yes, there were, it's complicated, and everybody knows it. I think in our performing art world, knows so well how to keep a dance company or even just keep a production being finished and how to making a project finished. It's just, not easy for, special contemporary artworks.
Well, and I can only say from an audience perspective, I'm so glad you did, because you have been staging amazing productions for the audience globally. Well, we do have one question that I feel is very related to the topic of your keynote on developing, connecting, and transcending. The question asks, in your creation process, what boosts you? What propels you in keep transcending boundaries? So you're very well known for, having new ideas, breaking through boundaries. So what keeps you, keeps up your transcending boundaries?
I think in the end, this is what the artist or what the art's doing is trying to, engage our people and human around the world, to showing that artistic artists who sense the beauty or feelings or some powerful spiritual support or new thoughts or something information that going to transcend to your artwork that you're going to share with the people. When the people communicate well, they get this kind of really strong, not just spirit support or mental support or even emotional support, and open their mind to see things more than what they see from the past. That engagement is like giving people more energy about life, about the world of a human living world. And it is it's kind of a charge, like a battery charge for our spirit, our feelings, and also fulfill our life journey, because life we need those art and the beautiful things, and also the artistic inspiration things, making people feel life are really, meaningful, and we should be, enjoy our life, but at the same time to look on the best part of our life and be strong, be opened, and be thoughtful, be more sensitive, and just that's kind of, it's the energy behind art, what can do that keeps me going.
Wonderful. It's like the cornerstone of why you do what you do. The final question from the audience is a very pragmatic question. It goes, when is your next plan to create or bring more works to the mainland?
Oh, yes. I'm working on 2 productions right now. I'm making a new work, going to premiere at American Dance Festival in July 16. And another major work I have been studying, at least the past year, have been studying poetries. And this work may related to 11th century and very ancient Chinese Song Chinese poet, and Su Dongpo, and he's like living 1,000 years ago, and his passion is somehow related to my passion. He's a great poet, beautiful writings, and he loves life. He's a calligrapher, and he's also a painter. And he travels everywhere, and he doesn't have a steady home like me, travel everywhere, living around the world. And he just have the spirit for the life, for people. And he wrote so many beautiful poetries, 1,000 years ago. And there's so much still related to our time in our, in today. And I'm thinking how I come to develop the ancient, beautiful, wisdom and the beautiful soul of a poet to connect, today, our time, and to share to the world. And, wow. And that would be something I would do for next big project.
Amazing. I mean, just hearing it, gets me energized. Well, in the interest of time, we would like to take this opportunity to thank you once again for being with us and answering live questions. It has been the utmost pleasure to have you, Mr. Shen. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for participating of this year's ISPA. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, and to the members of the audience, this is the last keynote that's been scheduled. We hope you have enjoyed the Congress and the sessions that the Congress Committee, Organizing Committee, has meticulously put together for you. Judging from the amount of engagement in the chat and in the various sessions, we know that you have had a wonderful ISPA Congress. And just a final reminder that do check out the final words at the closing video before we wrap up the Congress. So have a great day, everyone, and thank you.